You want mine? Do you need a music stand? Take this.
I'd like to read tonight from a chapbook called Take the Rap for God. The pull of the earth would take me right back if it were not for my feet. My name would be spoken all over the place, but the sound wouldn't carry my weight. Make a sign to hold up high. There is still a chance for magic dreams. Above the din in my head, way over the rainbow, who knows but we could come together at last. My old friend Mallarmé open his book and he's there. The patterns on the page read him into existence. If I say the words just so, he returns and tells me more. The book itself, with pages yellowing, growing brown and brittle, held gently and cautiously for fear of the inevitable, read all the more intently, words become precious for their dull luster and inky presences. Pondered oracles, each one linked to another held, taught sometimes, and sometimes slack chains, remembering saliva and mouth in their genealogies, succumbed to interpretations and memory. In my very hands disappearing, held sometime in the future, only to think back on this disillusion. Should I move in some other manner so as to make the change less subtle and my own part in it less severe? I wonder, even if gone, what will remain in that moment without perception, cognizant If, and this is only a speculation, what I see is seen, what I know, known, and if what this is this which, if it is, will it be a proof of sorts for the life of one more enigma? This ability to shape, alter, and produce it is too much a case of mistaken abilities, or should I've said identities? You don't know the half of it, the quarter of it, and by the time you get to the end of it, it appears right before your eyes, all at once, the whole of it. Beside you, a light keeps a vigil which you cannot hope to keep. I allow myself a length of rope to trail behind me, no less than what is wanted by any means. We recognize each other as fellow makers, humans, and not too anxious for immortality. We end again with the will to keep going. Nothing will interfere this, but a line wants to be itself, a measure we can count on, a breath of thought or of air. Nonsense equally absent from both lung and head. But the heart wants its say, and say it also with breath, touching point to plane, point over and across plane, point extending forth out of itself, multiple selves, a line of any length and size, of any shape and form, that is, writing on a motionless plane. You are too present, or you don't exist. Back with the dream people in the dome head city where it never rains, and humans and animals and objects and things all live together as if they all lived together. And after the smoke, wars are the only things that worry about, and the flavor of salt is the common denominator. Feet never touch ground, hands never really shake. The clouds, solid as your toes. Pick a name out of a hat each day for whom you are going to be that day all day long. This is how things are, have been, and will be. Nothing will ever differ unless you come into the picture and take things into your own hands and begin to tell stories of your own. This is the only exception to the rule. Otherwise, the rule rules, and the sun and moon and everything follow the course set for them by that storyteller we have grown used to calling God. Among the many narratives, there's the one that starts with once upon a time, because time comes into the picture once, and from then on, it's a line that gets things started. But this line won't do, for now things have changed so that it is multiple upon a time. And time itself is no longer time itself. But that's another story as I think of what goes on in the head. The great dome place of all endeavors. I know that all is possible in this impossible place, that each moment is enough to call it a day. Doing things and breathing and talking are all part of the plan. This is the story I never want to really start, because it would take a lifetime to tell it, and I only have a lifetime to live it. Each time I go into it, I leave off all the parts I go on living, and the parts I tell are their own reality, and there is too much to tell and do for me to wonder which came first, second, and third. All of a sudden, I'm off my feet, and my hands are as old as oysters. This mouth is no bigger than a cavern, and my nose is the birthplace of the winds. You see what I'm dealing with here? See how far I can go without stirring a limb. See how good I am at being here voluntarily for this time being. That's why I drop off telling this tale that has no end or beginning. I would never have anything to do with people if I were to go and tell this story. The story would be people enough and place enough and time enough for my every desire, thought and feeling, and life would be superfluous and useless to tell and live. But to live and tell is another thing, and it's what I've chosen thus far to do. I come over to the impossible and not have to pay the toll. Cross over into these other places and spaces and not have to move. I love this way of not doing things. The masters of the universe work this way. The ground plan of being is based on this kind of behavior. Here, take a look. Thank you.